Welcome students. In this lecture, we will study some few points regarding human nutrition. First of all, let us study about the hormonal control of gastrointestinal tract. The activities of gastrointestinal tract are under the control of neural and hormonal signals. See, neural signal, the sight, smell, or the presence of food in mouth stimulates the salivary glands for secretion of saliva. So this is neural signal. Similarly, the gastric and the intestinal secretions are also under hormonal control. The mucosa, that means innermost lining mucosa of stomach and small intestine, they secrete some local hormones. Due to the presence of food, and there are 4 types of local hormones secreted by the mucosa of stomach and small intestine. And these hormones regulate the secretions of gastric glands and intestinal glands. So let us know what are these hormones and how do they control the secretions of gastric and intestinal glands. First hormone is gastrin. When the food enters into the stomach, the endocrine receptors in the mucosa of stomach are activated and they stimulate the secretion of hormone gastrin by gastric mucosa. This hormone, it stimulates the gastric glands for secretion of 2 components, hydrochloric acid and enzyme pepsinogen. So this is the role of hormone gastrin. Then as the food enters into the small intestine, that means first part of small intestine, duodenum, then the mucosa of duodenum secretes 3 types of hormones. 1, secretin. It stimulates the pancreas, and the pancreas then release or secrete water and bicarbonates. Another hormone secreted by the intestinal mucosa is cholecystokinin, CCK, cholecystokinin. It stimulates the pancreas as well as the gallbladder. It stimulates the pancreas for secretion of pancreatic enzymes. And it also stimulates the gallbladder to release the bile. So this is the role of hormone cholecystokinin, CCK. 4th hormone, gastric inhibitory peptide, GIP. This hormone is inhibitory hormone and it inhibits the gastric mobility or motility and secretion. That means this hormone GIP is secreted when the food passes from stomach to duodenum. So, after transfer of food to the duodenum, the stomach has no role now. So, its gastric motility, that means the vigorous contractions and relaxations of the gastric wall are to be stopped. Gastric secretion, that means hydrochloric acid secretion, is to be stopped. The food is passed further. And hence, in order to stop this gastric motility and the gastric secretions, this hormone GIP is secreted. So these are the 4 different types of hormones. Local hormones secreted by the mucosa of gastrointestinal tract, and they control the secretions of gastric and intestinal glands. Now come to the next point, absorption. After digestion of food, the simple components are formed. Simple soluble components are formed. Glucose, fructose, galactose, amino acids. Then there are some electrolytes, the ions of sodium, chloride, bicarbonates, and so on. Then there are some drugs also that we take when needed. Some medicines, these are drugs. Then water. So these components present in the gastrointestinal tract are taken into the blood. The components related to fats do not dissolve into the blood, but first they are taken into the lymph and then released into the blood. So this is absorption. The process of absorption starts from mouth, then stomach, small intestine, even large intestine. So absorption of different components of the gastrointestinal tract takes place at 4 places: buccal cavity, stomach, small intestine, and large intestine. This absorption takes place by 4 different methods. 1, simple diffusion, that means from higher concentration to lower concentration. Secondly, by osmosis. Third phenomenon is facilitated transport or facilitated diffusion. And fourth one, active transport. So these are the 4 methods by which the components are absorbed into the blood. Now, let us study which components are absorbed in which part of the alimentary canal. So, mouth. Before that, let us note that about 90% absorption takes place in small intestine and only 10% absorption takes place in rest of the parts. That means mouth, small intestine and large intestine. So let us study the absorption of components in different parts. Mouth first. In mouth, the certain drugs like painkillers are absorbed through the mucosa of buccal cavity and from below the tongue. So some drugs like painkillers, these are only absorbed through the mucosa of stomach, mucosa of buccal cavity, and from below the tongue in mouth. Then stomach. Stomach. In stomach, little amount of water, then some electrolytes, that means ions, sodium, chloride, bicarbonates, calcium, etc. These ions. Alcohol. Then some drugs like aspirin tablets. So these components are absorbed through the mucosa of stomach. The components are some amount of water, electrolytes, alcohol, and certain drugs. Small intestine. Most of the digested components are absorbed through the mucosa of small intestine. These are glucose, fructose, galactose, amino acids. Then other components like minerals, water-soluble vitamins. Water-soluble vitamins are vitamin B and vitamin C. Only these two vitamins are water-soluble vitamins. So these are directly taken into the blood through the mucosa of small intestine. Then fats or lipids and fat-soluble vitamins. There are 4 types of fat-soluble vitamins. Vitamin A, D, E, K. A, D, E, K. Fat-soluble vitamins. And the hydrolytic products of lipids. That means fatty acids, glycerol. That means monoglycerides, etc. Triglycerides, diglycerides, monoglycerides. All these are the hydrolytic products of lipids. And these vitamins, fat-soluble vitamins. These cannot be directly absorbed into the blood because these are not soluble in water. Hence, these components are first coated by bile salts. These are first coated by bile salts. And such droplets or such molecules coated by bile salts are called as micelles. Micelles. These micelles are then coated by protein. Micelles, when coated by proteins, are now called as chylomicrons. Chylomicrons. So these protein coated molecules called as chylomicrons are taken into the lymph vessels and the main lymph vessel which collects these components along with lymph is called as lacteal. Lacteal. So this lacteal carries these chylomicrons along with lymph, and then this lymph and these chylomicrons are released into the blood stream or blood vessel. So this is the method of absorption of lipids. Now, which phenomenon is applied for absorption of which components? Let us see. Part of glucose, amino acids, and some ions like chloride ions are absorbed into the blood by simple diffusion. Some amino acids, fructose, are absorbed by facilitated transport. With the help of sodium carriers, sodium ions act as carriers. That means the sodium ions they carry these molecules from one side and release to the other side. So this is called as facilitated transport. See here. Suppose this is the membrane and the molecules are here. These are transported to that side. So here is carrier molecule. This carrier molecule picks up. This carrier is present in the membrane. It picks up this molecule. Then the carrier molecule along with this molecule to be transported. This carrier molecule then rotates through 180 degree so that this side comes to this side like this, and the molecule is released here. So molecule is taken from one side, and after rotation by through 180 degree, the molecule is released to that side. So this is called as facilitated transport. Some amino acids, fructose, these are transported by this method. Then sodium ions themselves are absorbed by active transport. Means for their transport from one side to other side, energy is required. Otherwise, they cannot be transported from one side to the other side. And the process of transport, which requires metabolic energy in the form of ATP, it is called as active transport. Water by osmosis. Simple method of osmosis. Now, the absorption in large intestine. In large intestine, water and the electrolytes like sodium, chloride, some drugs and some vitamins are absorbed into the blood. Now, this is the process of absorption in different parts of alimentary canal. Now, come to the next point, assimilation. Assimilation. What is assimilation? After absorption of these components into the blood, These components are carried to the body tissues, body cells. In the body cells, these are oxidized to release energy, and this energy is utilized for life activities as well as for synthesis of protoplasm. So this utilization of these digested components in the body cells is called as assimilation. Then the last step in the nutrition is egestion. Egestion means throwing out. So some undigested components along with water, inorganic salts, bacteria, mucosal cells, etc. All these components, undigested components, along with this water, bacteria, etc., are called as fecal matter or feces. These feces or fecal matters are then periodically given out of the alimentary canal. And this process is called as egestion. It is a voluntary activity, and it is also under the control of neural signals. So, the process of egestion is controlled by the activity of the sphincter, which is present in the anus. Muscular sphincter, it controls the egestion of undigested fecal matters. So this is about the different steps in nutrition. Now let us study one more point in this lecture. Caloric value of nutrients. Caloric value of nutrients. So, there are two types of values of nutrients. One, gross caloric value, and the other one, physiological value. What is gross caloric value? The amount of heat liberated by complete combustion of 1 gram food in bomb calorimeter, that means in the laboratory. It is called as gross caloric value. I will define it once again. The amount of heat liberated by complete combustion of 1 gram food in bomb calorimeter is called as gross caloric value. In animal bodies, the food is oxidized in the living cells. So, the same value in case of living body is called as physiological value. Definition: the actual energy produced by 1 gram food produced by oxidizing 1 gram food in animal body is called as physiological value. The amount of energy, heat energy actually, it is produced by complete breakdown of 1 gram food in animal body, it is called as physiological value. So there is some difference between gross caloric value and physiological value. So let us study the difference between gross caloric value and physiological value of some or three main types of food components. Main types of food components: lipids, proteins, and carbohydrates. So lipids means fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. In case of fats, the gross caloric value in kilocalories per gram is 9.5, while physiological value is 9. In case of proteins, the gross caloric value is 5.65 and the physiological value is 4. In case of carbohydrates, gross caloric value is 4.1 and the physiological value is 4 kilocalories per gram. So this is about the concept of caloric value of nutrients. So with this we finish up this lecture, and only one lecture is to be covered for completion of this topic. So let us cover these points in the next lecture. Thank you.